Hi, my name is Victoria and I am on a weight loss surgery plan and just went to see my doctor. He's Dr. Sherrod here in Austin. And I went with my husband and I was pretty scared and pretty nervous when we got there. But on the same side, I was really excited because my husband was with me and now we were going to go through the journey together and he'd kind of understand where I was coming from. To kind of give you a little bit of background, I have not always been overweight. I was very fit through most of my life until my late adult age, and I turn 50 next year. So my motivations are the fact that I'm turning 50 and I'm very overweight and I need to get my life back. I have heart conditions in my family. I have diabetes in my family. I'm built like my dad. My dad died when he was 58 years old of heart failure. That's 8 years from Monday, because Monday is my birthday. And I need the surgery. But I'm feeling super guilty. I'm guilty because how did I get to this point in my life where I'm overweight? I used to be very active, did a lot of horseback riding, dance, was in the service army for 8 years. I love to fish and hike and hunt and camp, and I haven't been able to do any of that. Maybe not that I haven't been able to, but I haven't wanted to in the last 4 or 5 years. I've had a lot of medical issues in the last 3 years where it has taken a toll on me being able to move around. Not that that's really an excuse because I was overweight then. I think that this is just the year for me to do it. However, now I'm feeling really guilty because I don't really have the comorbidities that my insurance would like me to have. I'm not at the perfect overweight number that I need to be able to have the surgery. So I'm right at 39. I've just totally forgot. Well, I'll just do my statistics. I'm 5'7". I weigh 257 pounds. I am needing to be at probably between, ideal weight of a 5'7" person is anywhere from 215 to 255. And I haven't seen that since I had my son. And that was 22 years ago. And I've steadily gained weight over the last probably 10 years to where now it's endangered my health, where I am on the border of being diabetic. I have a lot of joint issues. I have neuropathy in my feet, and so I'm not able to move around because of some of that stuff, but I think some of it is also the weight that I carry on my frame. I'm not a really big bone person, but I've always been told that I have I'm very strong for the type of person I am. I don't know. So anyway, back to the guilt. I'm feeling guilty because I don't fit into the category in order for my medical insurance to pay for it, so therefore we're doing it out of pocket. And $9,900 is a lot of money. But as we were talking, my husband and I realized that the actual payment, monthly payment, would be like a car payment for 3 to 4 years, depending on how we financed. And I was like, am I not worth a car? And it's really upsetting to like think of it in terms like that, but that is how I kind of see it. Am I not worth a car? But then on the other side, that's a lot of money. And we're getting to the point where we would like to retire, and all of that money could go to retirement versus to a selfish act. At least that's kind of how I feel, even though I do feel like I'm worth it. Anyway, I'm going to record my journey and possibly go ahead and put it out there on Facebook. I've watched a lot of videos from a lot of people who've inspired me, who's given me information that I would not have necessarily had if it hadn't been for y'all. I'm journaling my information both on video and in writing because I think it holds me accountable and it makes me see where I'm at. So let me talk about the doctor's appointment. It was very not so informative because I felt like I had most of the information that I needed about the surgery and the things that I needed to do. They make you do a psychology visit. They make you see a nutritionist. They actually, this particular doctor signs you up for a exercise coach, and then you have a lot of labs. Because of my history, I'm going to have to do not only the EKG, but I also need to do a stress test and some other things with a cardiologist, as well as I'm going to be getting an x-ray with barium to see if I have a hernia, because I do have some acid reflux that has really kind of come on really super strong in the last 6 months. And they're worried that I do have a hernia. So I went to Dr. Sherrod's office. We had an interesting visit because there was a very young doctor who is in her 3rd year residency who was left to kind of listen to me as my doctor stepped out to get a call as to why I was there. And I was really thinking in my mind, really? You are a skinny person and you're looking at a fat woman and you don't know why she's there. Of course you know why. She's overweight. But I found it interesting because as I'm telling her my story, I got really emotional, kind of like just now. But I think I got so emotional because my husband was in the room. And it was the first time I think I had to really tell him how I got there, why I got there, and be accountable. But then also to give the big reasons as to why I want to spend this much money on myself. I'm so sorry. It's just crazy emotional. But I'm happy. I'm not really sad. I think I'm just still kind of working through the guilt of how much it's going to cost. But anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm talking to my husband, this skinny doctor. The main doctor is out talking on the phone, and I'm like, if he wasn't so charming, the main doctor, Dr. Sherrod, I probably would have felt really insecure. But I didn't. He came back in. He just started up the conversation right where we left off, and off to the races we went. He really delved into my history, my family's history, My husband asked a lot of questions, things that I didn't even think about because I felt like I already knew all that information because of YouTube. But my husband, I hadn't really kind of talked to him. I talked to him about things like what I would be eating and how life would kind of change that way, and what my goals were once some of the weight came off and I could actually go to the gym and exercise. He asked things like, how long would it take for me to get back to work? And I was thinking like a week and a half, like some people, and the doctor was like, no, it's 3 weeks. And I was like, 3 weeks? And I left the doctor's office, my husband and I were talking over lunch, and he said, now you're going to have to be off 3 weeks. And I said, who said that? So I think going into the office this next time, I'm really going to have some questions that probably delve into more of the aspects of what I really should be thinking about, or what could possibly happen, because I think you get on the kick of this is good for me once you get going, but you don't necessarily think of like what happens right after I have my surgery, what happens like during the hospital, what should I expect, those kinds of questions. But I did have a couple of questions because I was leaning on doing the gastric sleeve. But I kept telling the doctor, I want to make sure that I'm successful 4, 5, 6, 10 years out. I don't want to be back here going, can you reset my sleeve or make it tighter, or God forbid, be back at the same weight again and going, how do I fix this? So he started talking to me about the RNY. He said to go back and do some more homework about that. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to look at some of your videos that have to do with RNY, because I've spent a lot of time looking at the sleeve. He said I could do either one. The RNY just has more history and more studies for the long haul about weight loss, and it's been very successful. I was just really concerned also about having the malnutrition. I was worried about that because I already have some issues with not being able to absorb vitamins properly anyway. So I really appreciate you letting me tell my story. I'm sorry that I was so sobby at the beginning. It's kind of scary. It's scary to put yourself out there, even if I may not put this video out there. I've watched a lot of weight loss shows over the last couple of years, and one of the things that I always found interesting was to see the people sit side by side of themselves. One is their overweight self talking to their skinny self, and then their skinny self talking to their fat self. So here's to my skinny self. I hope and I know that it'll be all worth it. That you will find that inner cougar that you have inside of you that has a lot of strength, willpower, and has been healthy. And that you will do the things that you need to do to keep yourself healthy for the benefit of your family, if not only for yourself. That you'll be a strong individual, that you'll share the information that you've received with others so that they can be successful, and that things are going to be okay, and that you're going to look back on this journey and say, wow, you did it, and you did it for all the right reasons, and that you shouldn't be ashamed that you spent that money on yourself. Bye for now. As I like to say, ciao, because I think I have a little Italian in me, even though I'm more Irish than Scottish. If you'd like to contact me, you can contact me on the link below. I hope you have a wonderful day. Until next time.